And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
I'm shocked, Steve, that you didn't like this.
No, I enjoyed it. No, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just telling you it's a brutal movie. So, yeah, it's great. Certainly visually, cinematically,
Musically.
Good evening and welcome to Is It a Bicycle? Season 8, Episode 23, the original and bestest ever TV and movie podcast. My name is Stephen Wrigley and I'll be your host for this evening. Beside me I have an old man who this week said that the movie wasn't scary, the crap in his pants was purely coincidental. It's Mike McDonough. Live from Vegas, we have a man who's actually kind of handsome when you're drunk and the light is low and there's no other dudes around and you've low standards. It's Sean, out of Cans, Leonard. This week we'll be discussing the movies LA Slasher and Survivor, and some TV in the form of UnReal. We'll also have some news and some previews coming to a bicycle near you. So how are we doing?
Fantastic, Steve.
Good stuff, Mike.
Thanks for asking.
Sean isn't with us yet. He's going to join us in a little bit.
I'm sure he's fantastic too.
Yeah. Just fantastic. So what have you been up to this week, Mike?
I've been becoming acclimatized to this weird burning ball in the sky.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They have a word for it. What is it?
Sun.
Sun. Sun, they say.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, sure has. I also stepped back in time. The other night they were showing the original Bourne Identity.
Oh, really?
With Matt Damon.
Oh, right.
And I'd almost forgotten it. It's that long since it came out. It was a really good fucking movie.
It was a good movie, yeah.
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 They don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah, I must go back and watch that again, actually. Yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah, certainly is.
Yeah, the original, actually, I think, was the better one. Although, I did like the last one.
The Jeremy Renner one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, just using the name.
Yeah. I think the first time I saw that one, I kind of wasn't that into it, but then I watched it again.
Yeah.
And just let Jeremy do his thing. And
it's kind of like a new Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes a while to break it in, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I saw the first 2 episodes of *Halt and Catch Fire*. It's back, season 2.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think I spoke a little bit about this last week.
Am I right? *Halt and Catch Fire*, was that the one about the lads who invented the computer thingy?
Yeah. So they took a failing calculator company or something like that. I can't remember exactly what they produced. Something Instruments. A bit like
Texas Instruments?
No. They're an actual company.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't too far removed.
Kansas Instruments.
Yeah, and then the guy they brought in, who's a background in IBM, sort of said, "Okay, we're going to make this personal computer." And it's all about the early days and the challenges and actually designing the hardware, not just the software. This year, it seems they're going to be moving more towards... They're a little bit disjointed because they've sold the company.
Okay.
So this year, it seems that they may get the band back together.
Ah.
Not quite sure yet,
yeah.
But I think it's going to be more focus on gaming area. Like, you remember the Atari and those gaming consoles? Well, they're actually going for the online stuff where you had the dial-up.
Okay,
right. Like the Hobbit game.
Yeah.
You're in a clearing. You want to go north, east, or west. And you had to type in the command. Yeah.
God be with the days, yeah.
Yeah, so, it's that kind of thing. So it's kind of cool. It's very nostalgic for me, at least, anyway. Yeah, it's a
kind of a
show.
geek heaven.
Yeah. Did you get to Hannibal?
Not yet.
It's back, season 3.
Yeah, I have it on Series Link.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I saw the first episode.
Did you?
Yeah, you know that I haven't been following. I didn't see any of season 2.
See, I think that would be wasted on you.
Maybe.
Because there was a major cliffhanger at the end of season 2.
Oh.
Because all the major characters, we weren't sure whether they lived or died.
Oh.
So episode 1 of season 3, you get to find out, obviously, who made the cut.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
so I guess that was probably lost on you.
Mads Mikkelsen wasn't one of those.
Because he was the only one that was guaranteed to come out of that last episode.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So anybody else that you see in that episode, you can't mention because it'll be a spoiler for those who...
Okay. So I can't talk about it then, really. Just to say that, it was quite good, and there was a few faces in there I didn't realize around.
Okay.
So yeah.
Is he cooking again?
Would that be a spoiler?
The culinary side you can probably talk about. Yeah.
There's some wine consumed anyway.
Mhm.
Yep. So Supergirl
Mm-hmm.
isn't out till like November, December, but it's being leaked, which has been highly publicized.
That's a bit bold, isn't it?
Yeah, and it kind of managed to come across my desk this week,
All right.
so I had a look.
Oh,
Yeah.
the little leak fairy came and...
The little leak fairy came, and I'm going to compare it to The Flash.
Mhm.
It's better than The Flash.
Okay.
It's higher quality than The Flash.
All right, because a lot of people thought The Flash was pretty good.
Yeah. It's grand.
Okay.
You know, The Flash,
Yeah.
in my opinion, The
Yeah.
Flash is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Ticked all the boxes.
Yeah.
It's a little bit kiddie,
Mm-hmm.
but this, it has its kiddie element, but it's just a few years more mature, let's say.
Okay.
Yeah, not that many.
Yeah.
But it being a superhero, it's going to be hard to. But yeah, it's worth a look. It's worth a look. Yeah.
Well, I think all anybody really wants to know is how hot is she?
Oh, very. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be a hit then.
Can't believe you're objectifying Supergirl.
Such a pig.
Did you see the UFC at the weekend? UFC
I
fight
did
night?
not. I haven't
No.
recorded.
Okay, I won't spoil it for you.
Yeah.
Just say that everything is brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely get to it. If you're going to watch a fight night this year,
Mhm.
make it
That's
that
the
one.
one.
Yeah.
Everybody I've spoken to has just gone, oh, it was so brilliant. It was so brilliant.
Yeah. That's the
It was the one with Dan Henderson.
Dan
and
Henderson.
Poirier was in it.
But it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really worth watching. Okay, so let's crack on. Let's go to the news. Do you want to hear the Batman vs. Superman movie synopsis?
Go on, so.
Fearing the actions of a godlike superhero left unchecked, Gotham City's own formidable, forceful vigilante takes on Metropolis's most revered modern-day savior, while the world wrestles with what sort of hero it really needs. And with Batman and Superman at war with each other, a new threat quickly arises, putting mankind in greater danger than it's ever known before. Now, without having heard that, you kind of have guessed that that this is what it was going to be about, Yeah.
I have to admit, this is the first superhero movie probably ever that I'm actually looking forward to seeing.
Are you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind
Batman looks kind of badass in this.
Yeah. I'm not that hyped about it, I have to say.
No?
It's I don't know. Is it? When superheroes fight, it's we've seen it like in Transformers, and we've seen it in some of the Avengers, and we've seen it in, was it the last Superman? Yeah, where they're fighting someone who is of equal power, nearly.
Yeah.
And the fight's going for like an hour.
Yeah.
Or
like the Hulk versus Iron Man.
Yeah, exactly. You just have them crashing through buildings and no one gets hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's a distinct unevenness in power between Batman and Superman.
There is, that's true. Yeah.
That's what makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Batman's brains versus Superman's brawn.
Does it? Right, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. Do you remember I said I went to see Disney's Tomorrowland?
Yep.
George Clooney being the headliner in it. So according to analysts, film could end up being $140 million in the red.
Oops.
For Disney, yeah. So it's earned $77 million in America and $93 million outside of landed a free extra large side order and Coke. And costs $180 to make, $150 in marketing.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a deficit, isn't it?
Yeah.
But 2013 Lone Ranger lost 190. 2012 John Carter lost 200 million.
Yeah.
Kind of used to it. Yeah. Tomorrowland, I don't think it knows quite what it was. Remember, I did enjoy it. I thought it was fine. Remember, I said it was a PG Sunday matinee, and it looks fantastic. But you're not quite sure what it is, and it's fine. It's not the big blockbuster I think they're after.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of those kind of fantasy vision movies, and I think the directors get carried away with their vision, and they kind of assume that everybody else is going to be into it.
Yeah.
And then after they've spent a shit ton of money on it, they realize that actually nobody really gives a shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they should have sort of had more test screenings.
Yeah.
No, it's just, it just didn't, all the ingredients are right.
Mhm.
It's just just didn't gel, really,
Meh.
Yeah, yeah. So, according to social media, it turns out that the English physician and scientist who invented vaccinations, Edward Jenner, is actually a woman.
Oh, really?
So it turns out. It's all over social media this week.
I see. So it must be true.
Yeah.
Did he, she, it make any movies?
No, it's some reality TV show, I think. Something about that. I don't know. I maybe picked it up wrong. Okay, let's move on to the first four movies, which is Survivor. This stars Peersh Brosnan, Milla JoJoJoJoVich, and Dylan McDermott. And there's also Frances de la Tour, who I knew her, I just didn't know who she was.
Okay.
Initially. Then I realised she was in Rising Damp.
You're even older than I am, Steve.
Which is an old TV sitcom. And she played Sally, who's the lady on the phone who you can trust not to inform on you to your superiors. Dylan McDermott is probably the best role I've seen him in. He was quite solid. Milla JoJoJoVich, some reckon she was miscast, but I don't think so. I thought she was great on it.
It's not really possible to miscast me, though.
And Peersh. Yeah. He was just brilliant as a baddie. He did a lot of squinting.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did a lot of, sort of frowning at stuff. And I thought he was great.
Good at frowning.
He did have this weird moustache in it, though.
Yeah.
This stick-on moustache that used to appear and then disappear. And did you notice that?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is with the moustache? Oh, I don't recognize you now.
Yeah.
This is like Clark Kent in his glasses, Yeah, it was strange. What did you think of this?
I really liked it.
Tell us, what's it about?
It's about Milla is a security analyst working in the London US Embassy. And her job is to look at visa applications for people wanting to go to the States and find out or identify dodgy ones that could potentially be terrorists or whatever.
Yeah.
So she's kind of the voice of reason behind the visa application process. And as part of her job, she identifies one particular visa application that is just a little bit sus. And she says, well, hold on about this. As soon as she puts the brakes on it, things start to go wrong. Could there be a conspiracy? Could it be powerful people in high places that want this visa to be applied?
Yeah.
Could it possibly be that she's the thin blue line between safety and the end of civilization?
Wow, Mike. Yeah, so she kind of figures out, there's a plot brewing, and she investigates.
Yeah.
And she kind of gets fingered for assassination.
She does.
By the Watchmaker,
which
is Peersh Brosnan's character.
He's a very bad lad.
He is the world's best assassin, apparently.
Yeah. How do you hire the world's best assassin if nobody knows who the fuck he is?
You send a courier package. Did you not see it? No, you just knock on the door and you just walk in and you give them a picture and, a dossier. There you go. So it's an action thriller chase movie, not unlike the Bourne movies, I thought. Kept me engrossed anyway. It was fast paced.
There's a lot of trust issues.
Yes, there is. Yeah. A lot of people covering their asses to watch their jobs and that kind of thing. What it kind of reminded me was, like, Peersh was the Terminator, and Milla was Sarah Connors.
Almost, yes.
Yeah. It was a terrible, terrible movie. It was a really, really bad movie. It was terrible, but it was enjoyable though.
See, there's degrees of terribility.
Yeah, this was bad. This was a bad movie. But, it's sort of, like it's so bad it's good kind of thing.
I'm shocked, Steve, that you didn't like this.
No, I enjoyed it. I know, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just telling you it was a brutal movie.
Well,
it was terrible.
This is what action movies are these days.
But no.
This is your standard, bog standard.
No, well, that's it. It was by the numbers, and it had the most contrived terrorist plot ever.
Yeah.
Like, it was just ridiculous, it was actually funny. It was that contrived. And there's a lot of, not just of the, the ones that we're familiar with were the convenient coincidences. they were more than convenient.
Do you know how long those scriptwriters stayed up trying to think about those convenient coincidences? They were busting their balls, man.
So there's a lot of chase scenes. There's a lot of silly mistakes made by people on both sides, and a lot of close escapes and close encounters and so on. Yeah. I thought Milla was great in it. I thought she was quite a believable character initially, until it got silly. I thought Peersh was brilliant as a bad guy. I thought Dylan McDermott solid as in that role. Like I say, I thought it was one of his better roles actually. Yeah.
I thought they did a good job of, the external shots of London and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of gave you a real sense of place about it.
It did, yeah. And the fact that, you'd actually see a map now and again. Of the underground or something, they're there. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's an interesting new chapter, I think, for Peersh. Because, ever since he was a young man, people said he has to be Bond one day.
Yeah.
And then he got to be Bond.
Yeah.
And then they said, what's he going to do now that he's not Bond?
Yeah.
But he's finally got to an age where, he's past being the leading romantic action hero type thing.
You know what he is?
What?
He's the anti-Liam Neeson.
Almost, yes. I was thinking of, what's his name?
What he says, I will find you, but I'll actually find you.
Yeah.
And it won't be good. It won't because you did something to me. It's just because,
I was thinking of, do you remember, what's his name, played Count Dooku in Saruman?
Oh, yeah. I know who you mean. Yeah.
His biggest roles were well into his senior years.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So it's quite possible that Peersh in the next 10, 15 years will become just an all-time legendary bad guy.
Maybe he's, just a new gear. Yeah.
He's certainly got the wrinkles for it. Those are very intimidating wrinkles.
Yeah. Hey, he looks like the new Lee Van Cleef nearly.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot more to come.
There's someone else in this that I recognise as well as James Darcy.
James Darcy.
Yeah, he played Inspector Paul Anderson.
Oh yeah, I didn't recognise him.
Yeah, he's in lots of things. Master and Commander. Okay. Yeah, he always played the British guy.
Okay. He was terribly British in this.
Yeah, he was in Cloud Atlas. He was in Agent Carter, of course. That's where I've seen him a lot recently. Yeah, and Broadchurch. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, despite its terribleness, it was quite a fun movie. It's quite enjoyable. You leave your brain at the door. Don't look at it too closely, and like I say, it kept me engrossed and moved along nicely. And
it's probably a classic leave it for DVD kind of movie.
Oh, I can't believe that it won't go straight to DVD.
No, it's shown in cinema.
I know, yeah, but I'm just surprised. Yeah, it's not one that I tell someone to go look at in the cinema.
Well, you see...
Well, it depends on your mood as well, yeah.
Yeah,
it depends on the day. A rainy Sunday now.
The cast is too big to go straight to DVD.
Yeah.
If it was Nicolas Cage or something, you'd say fair enough.
So what would you give this?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I no regrets over watching it. It's not a great movie, but I'd give it a 6. It's a good average action movie.
Okay, yeah. I thought it was a terrible movie, but really enjoyable. It's awful. It's really awful.
But think about it.
I've seen episodes of 24 that are better.
You go into the cinema, you pay your few bob, and you're just hoping beyond hope. The next 2 hours isn't going to be complete shit.
I was entertained. I was entertained for the length of it. But it's not a good movie.
Yeah, we're not going to be talking about this in 10 years.
No, it's not going to be even a cult classic. Yeah, you know what? I'll give this a 6 as well. Yeah. Despite how
kicking
terrible
and screaming,
it is. I know, yeah. Okay, so next up we have LA Slasher. Sean, do you want to tell us a bit about this?
Sure. LA Slasher follows a number of celebrities famous for not really having any talent, and famous for being famous, as they get picked off by the titular character, the LA Slasher. And things are, they go gristily from the day.
They do indeed. This is a very stylized pop arty, isn't it?
Very, very much so.
Yeah. And I do like that the LA Slasher is be-masked. Yeah, he's got a certain purity or something, or he wants to return. Is it a visual sort of thing where he wants to return to ages of innocence or something? Because he's all in white and white gloves and white slash hooks.
I kind of thought it was a Michael Jackson sort of a thing.
Yeah. Not the same thing, though.
I suppose he had his purity phase, all right. Yeah.
So, so he's sort of kind of seeking out and kidnapping, the shallow, the self-absorbed, the celebrity obsessed, famous for being famous social mediaites and boy banders and so on. Yeah. Which is fair enough. It's, I thought it was visually fantastic. Thought the plot was entertaining. LA Slasher's voice, which is by, Andy Dick. Yeah. Actually, we should mention, this also stars Misha Barton, Dave Bautista, Eric Roberts, and Danny Trejo.
Danny fucking Trejo!
Yeah. And also Brooke Hogan. Of the famous wrestling clan. And, his voice, it's not really required. It's a little bit shrill. I thought that didn't kind of help the movie because it seemed out of place with the rest of it. Now it was
surely that was a conscious choice, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and it's evil and menacing and so on. But I don't think we really needed him in there, did we? The voice.
A lot of the voice as well is it's exactly what you'd expect someone to be saying,
Yeah.
Like it's like, I'm going to kill people who are celebrities and aren't talented. Well, we know. You've been doing that for 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
We've caught on. Like, we get it. We've seen your tweets, like, pop up all over the screen.
That's exactly what I wanted to bring up.
On.
Yeah, exactly. I thought the Twitter feed was great to bring the story along. Yeah, and I don't think it needed that narration by the voice. Yeah, it kind of took me from the atmosphere that created, It's a little bit disjointed or something. But anyway, won't hang them over that. Yeah, Dave Bautista and Danny Trejo, they were very funny, actually.
Yeah, very funny.
They were the comic relief in this. Yeah, they're great. And I love the music. Nice bit of 80s throwback.
I was going to say,
Yeah. I'd say the soundtrack will be a hit, all right.
Quite possibly, yeah.
I actually did look up his Twitter account. The LA Slasher.
The LA Slasher. He has a real account, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cool that it exists. Yeah. So what do you think of this?
I did really, really enjoy the premise. The whole idea of just taking useless people and, carving them up kind of appeals to that side of my thinking. For a long time, I was enjoying the shit out of it. Particularly the interaction between Batista and Danny Trejo. I thought they were fantastic, but I kept wanting to see more of them and less of others.
True. Yeah.
Yeah,
very true. Yeah. I wanted to see the Dave and Danny show.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I thought the choice of victims was brilliant. They took the full spectrum of assholes that you find in
the mayor, the actress.
In modern celebrity life or whatever.
The slasher. Or the drug dealers. Yeah.
I found the Twitter aspect a bit annoying. I really dislike any movies that have, Facebook and Twitter and all this crap, because it's instantly dated. You watch it in 5 years, either those apps won't exist anymore, or the interface will have totally changed, and people look at it and say, "Oh, look at it."
Well, unlike Miami Vice or something, seagull haircuts and.
but Mike, first of all, I think that Twitter, that we're going to be safe on that one for a long time. Like, I don't know if that you can even. Like, they clearly made it look just different enough from Twitter as well, and they gave each one, their own highlighted colors, to signify. I think as a visual element, it can't date it any more than the fact that the cars they were driving were from the past few years,
Yeah.
Like, the clothes they were wearing is the style of today, because that's always going to happen. We are a product of the times, and so is our media.
Mm-hmm. But if you, make a proper science fiction movie or something, you can set it 200 years in the future and, have this astrotech or whatever.
Sorry, it doesn't work, Mike.
Shut up.
Just look at Back to the Future. The future was 2015. You know? October this year
still cool.
is where he went to the future, you know. Yeah. So, what did you think of the suspense or the plot? What did you think of the plot?
I thought the plot was a bit of a mess. It was quite hard, in my view, to keep track of everything that was going on. A lot of the character arcs started off, and then you kind of forgot about them, and then they brought them back in, and you're like, hang on, what's going on there again? And it was just, to my mind, a bit confusing. Particularly towards the end of the movie. When they started to try and wrap things up, I was really losing track of what the hell was going on. And it sort of started to force me to forget, or not to forget, but to start to not care about what was happening towards the climax of the movie.
Wow. And you're looking forward to Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sean?
I don't know. So there's a thing that happens with horror movies, right? Where back in the day, like let's say it was Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're hoping that the main character survives, right?
Mm.
And then the second one, the reason you go to see that movie is because you want to see the killer do more of his old tricks. And until it gets to the point where you're rooting for the bad guy, you're rooting for the slasher, you're rooting for them to kill everyone they're trying to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Like a guy just said it in class today, a screenwriter. He said, in Jaws 2, halfway through the movie, what you want is a clean sweep of killing all of, like you want the slasher to get them all. And I think that this movie is aware of that. And so it just starts from the basis of, well, no, this is about the LA slasher.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's that person's movie. It's that character's movie.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good idea, because I certainly didn't give a shit about anyone else.
Yeah.
Partially because you wouldn't, because they're actually people we dislike in real life. It was very clear that there was allegories or corollaries for real life people like Paris Hilton, and reality TV stars, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But that also meant that the only character who has any goal is the slasher. So when we're not with the slasher, you're just kind of waiting, in my opinion, you know? So I don't know. I think that there's some... Go on, Steve.
What about Misha Barton?
I watched Misha Barton in 3 seasons of The OC, being an alright actress with maybe 3 faces, right up there in the, like, you know, like the spectrum. You know, like she's sad, she's angry, sad.
She's up in the Kirsten Connolly, or Kirsten, what's her face? Kind of...
Dunst?
No.
Scott Thomas.
Oh, Twilight Girl.
Oh.
Oh, yeah,
Stewart.
yeah.
Stewart.
The one we don't care about. Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. So,
Kristen.
I don't know, like,
Kirsten.
what did she really have for doing, except she got worried about the LA slasher, she got more worried about the LA slasher, and then, like, I actually think the LA slasher might have one of my friends. Like, she only has an objective in the last 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Nobody has an objective except the slasher. So I kind of don't know how you make the movie better, you know, like, so I guess what I would have preferred is maybe if they could have made all of the characters as interesting as the objectiveless Dave Bautista, Danny Trejo drug dealers.
Yeah.
You know, like, give me something to see there. Because they were clearly they're all commentary on society. Like, there's one conversation between, like, an heiress and another reality TV star.
Which is brilliant.
Where they clearly, that was very well done. Like, I was like, this is class. Not only do I hate both of these people and kind of want them to die, but I can exactly see how these people would exist just like this. Yeah. You know? So, I don't know, they were kind of ciphers in that sense. What I will compliment, I think the standout moment of the movie for me, except for maybe some of the dancing that the LA Slasher does, the standout moment of the movie for me is when the slashers got, like, covered in blood, which is, by the way, why I think he was dressed, or she, I don't know, was dressed in white, because blood looks great on white. There's a reason that you make horror movies in winter on the snow.
Magenta blood,
Magenta, yeah. I think my favorite part was when the LA Slasher's hand starts shaking after having done some shit, and, like, he grabs his hand and he's like, okay, no. Like, another reason to remove the voiceover. because I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I did not expect to see guilt from this masked character.
Yeah.
And then they go, what they do with that immediately after, showing real emotion, I thought, without having a face, was very well done. So I don't know, I would have liked to see more of that. Probably less Andy Dick, who in fairness was born with one of the most annoying voices in the world anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I think that there's moments of genius in it, and it
There
does
is,
feel
you're right.
though, it does feel like it's overcharged with ideas. It might even be overfull with ideas. So I'll be excited to discuss these ideas with the writer-director, Martin Owen. I'll be excited to ask him about that and about the visual style in it as well, which was very well done. The visual style and the music carried me through probably more than the characters.
You'll be interviewing him soon, isn't it?
Yep, I will indeed. I'll be interviewing him tomorrow.
Excellent.
So look for that in our interview section, and perhaps even some post-production work to throw it into this very episode of the podcast.
The other thing I wanted to, or two things I wanted to talk about were the Tosh.0 style character, the gossip monger.
Oh yeah, I loved him.
He was very good, wasn't he? He was very good. He was like no conscience whatsoever, you know, and he was behind the LA Slasher. You know, I thought he was very, very funny. He's a great character. And also, the news reporter.
Yep.
That was an interesting character and an interesting turn to the movie that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
She's got a great, development of character.
Yeah.
You know, throughout the reporting of the LA Slashers movements, let's say.
She's one of the few that does.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. She seems to, I don't know, is she rising above it or, you know, yeah.
I think she's just seen too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame because there's so many characters in this that I really want to see, but they're not given enough time. Like the heiress, I thought was just brilliant. She's such an asshole.
Yeah.
And you know, she well, obviously it's a horror movie. They're all going to get their comeuppance, but I would have liked to see some kind of traction in her story other than LA Slasher.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, and you know, there's other characters that the same thing over and over.
The mayor, Eric Roberts.
Yeah,
he was great. Yeah, I'd like to have seen more of him. You know, this could have been a franchise nearly.
Almost, yeah.
You know, had they gone for two characters and then two more, and you know, that kind of way.
And told bigger stories about the
individual
characters.
I mean, you know, it's almost like it's almost perfect for serialization. You know,
yeah, TV show.
Yeah, exactly.
Pun. That was a pun. That was amazing.
Did you like that? Yeah. You know, it's one of these movies that I'm still thinking about a few days after watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you still see more angles to it, and because I think initially it was sort of, you know, sort of almost blown away by the visuals. Mm-hmm. You know, I love that pop arty look.
Yeah.
You know, from the very, very start, the intro.
It's hard to get right.
They are, yeah. No, it's not. It's almost. No, I suppose Andy Warhol, pop arty, yeah. But you know, that kind of those colors and so on. So, yeah, it's great. It's great. Certainly visually, cinematically,
musically.
Gas. Yeah, Sean, have you any more to say on this, or shall we wait until you've?
Yeah, no, like I might even talk more about it once I get to chat to the director. Because to be honest, for me, with this film, I don't know if I'd even recommend it to people to watch. It'd be like if I could pick a movie to put on like the best flat screen TV in the world in the background of a party. Yeah, maybe this is the perfect movie for that. You know what I mean? Like, to look at it and listen to it, but I just don't know. Like, I don't know. As a movie, I'm very interested to see your guys' marks on it.
Yeah. I guess, like you were saying, the confusion of who's who. The cohesiveness of the stories.
Yeah.
Because they don't really overlap. Yeah, that kind of, I can see where you're coming from, where the confusion is. Yeah. That's, that and the voiceover of the LA slasher.
Do you know what? That didn't bother me that much.
Oh, it got to me. It was just like...
Because if you think about it, he's dealing with assholes. So it's kind of funny that he's an asshole too.
It was almost kind of the voice that you'd expect from, you know, the early Batman's Penguin.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Whereas you wanted, when Gotham is ashes,
yeah.
you have my permission to die.
Maybe. I wasn't expecting that kind of whine, you know. Oh, you think you're going to do this now? You know, that kind of...
But isn't that nice though, like, that you get killed or fucked up by somebody that talks like this?
No, Mike. It doesn't matter what they sound like, actually. Okay, do you want to mark this?
Mm-hmm. It's a difficult one to mark. Because for the first 2/3 of this, I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking this could be an 8 or even a 9.
Yeah.
Because I loved the way it was shot.
Yeah.
I loved all the characters. I loved the music.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the idea. And just the last third let it down for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give it 6.
6. That's a good mark.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go one better.
Are you?
Yeah, I think it's a 7.
All right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't argue too hard over that.
Yeah. 7. Like I said, my only faults with it really are the voice and slightly confusing plot near the end.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, you know what? It's more that the finale or the climax was sort of drawn out a little bit longer than I'd like.
Okay.
Maybe that was it, you know. But there were a lot of ends to tie up, all right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a 7. Yeah, Sean.
I'm going to go with Mike. Very well put together world and look, but not enough character development for me. So it's a 6.
6. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay. Next up we have our TV show, which was UnReal. Mike, do you want to tell us about UnReal?
Do you remember I Want to Marry Harry?
Yeah.
This is basically the TV show about the making of I Want to Marry Harry.
All right.
Or The Bachelor for our...
Or The Bachelor.
Yeah. So the basic idea is they're making a reality TV show. There's a handsome, wealthy British guy who has to pick a wife from, a bevy of beautiful young Americans.
A selection.
A
Harlem.
And the show is following the ins and outs of making such a TV show and all the various people that have inputs to that kind of an activity.
Yeah, Sean, what did you think of this?
Very, very interesting idea. I had actually just read an article about how reality TV is, how staged it actually is, you know? And I hadn't really known about the depths to which that they would go, you know? Like the actual, not only have we psychologically profiled you and gotten a bunch of information on you, but we're going to talk to you about it right before we put you on camera. And it happens all the time. Like, for Big Brother and for lots of stuff like this, people may not realize this, but sometimes when you see people reacting to what other people are saying, those are actually clips of them in a different conversation or at a different point in the conversation while someone else's audio just keeps going. So sometimes someone's just really annoyed because they can't remember a word, but it looks like they're really annoyed at someone acting like a bitch, even if they really didn't care at the time.
Yeah.
Like, that is the degree of manipulation that goes on. So going in and showing us the terrible people who do this for a living is great. And I love a lot about the show. The characters, our protagonist or a protagonist, is a lady called Rachel, who couldn't take the terrible things they were doing. And she went crazy. Like, she had a mental breakdown on set during the filming of the finale of the last season, left her boyfriend, whatever, had a mental break, essentially. And it's about her coming back. She's back to work on the next season of the show. And it opens. We see her for the first time. They did a really interesting shot. There's a limo headed for the event, for the shooting of the pilot. And we almost fly in. It's almost like a drone shot or a crane shot.
Yeah.
We fly in through the open sunroof. And there are these 4 dolled up ladies who can't wait to, like, be manipulated and manipulate others. and be on TV and be famous. We're following a theme this week. And it zooms down on this short girl in no way dressed up, Rachel, lying on her back in the middle of this limo, wearing a t-shirt that says, "This is what a feminist looks like." And it's just so clear from get-go how much she hates that she does this and that she's good at it to boot. So I really like that. That was a great character. I like how mean the producer is, and I like how mean the show creator is. Really, really good roles. And to be honest, pretty much all but one main character and one recurring character are women. And it's really a good thing, because I was so surprised at how diverse of a group of people they had. Even when you have someone who clearly was gunning for Rachel's job while she was away. And that woman is pretty much like a bitch trying to do the same things that the producer of the show does. But it comes out so differently, not only because she's not as good at it, but because she has almost the least conscience of anyone. It's very well done. I was a big fan of that, and I think it's funny. Like, it's actually funny sometimes as well.
The producer in this really annoyed me.
But she's meant to annoy you.
Yeah, no, it wasn't just her personality. Because she's a very strong lady, but she's an awful bitch as well. Yeah. But no, she's just getting the job done, doing what she needs to do to get it done, right? But it was the dialogue from her. It just reminded me of some people that kind of irritate me.
Your third class teacher, yeah.
No, it's just this thing of like, right, let's do it, kind of, these kind of nearly cliched phrases, that she was just, it was all the time that she came out with. Anyway.
But I mean, the whole show is about cliche.
Oh yeah, I know, but that just got my wick now. But anyway, getting beyond that, this is great. Yeah. It's and that character you're talking about, the girl who's really good at her job and freaked out in the last season, her part made the show. I think it was brilliant. It was very clever, and how she's manipulating these people to make good TV in the producer's eyes, let's say. And even when things go wrong, she's really good at manipulating it so that it produces an even better result than you'd expect initially, let's say. I love that the diversity of characters in the ladies that were in for selection, let's say. Jeez, it was like a cattle mart, really, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
That's what it is like.
It's brutal.
Right?
It's brutal, yeah. And not just the diversity, but then you could see some of them that they kind of knew why they were there. And it wasn't to win it. Yeah. And others that knew they were there and knew they were favorite. Yeah. It's really kind of sad. It's not even kind of sad. It's really sad. Yeah. That format, it's just.
It's actually a perfect thing to follow on from the LA slasher.
It is. It is really. Yeah. I guess people been there to be famous or. Because there's no choice for them, obviously. Yeah. I'm not going to argue the morals of the whole format of the show, but it just really hammers at home, how...
I think Oscar Wilde used to call them professional beauties.
Professional beauties?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in 1906 or something.
It's a bit of an eye-opener, actually. Into how, like you say, into how all the background works. Because it's presented like, oh, this just happened. Yeah. Not that we've gone through several scenarios and then went, oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Or manipulated in such a way where one thing happens, like you said earlier, Sean, where they're reacting to something else, but infer that it's actually this other subject that they're reacting to. Yeah. And so that it makes the story, which, when I sit down and think about it, it's just like, yeah, well, what did you think they were doing? Of course, this is it, Yeah. So, yeah, what did you think?
I really, really like this. Largely because I really miss I Want to Marry Harry.
Do you think Sean would like this?
I think she might, actually.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I think it's too sad. You know.
You see,
she doesn't like horrible people.
I think it would make her very angry, actually.
Well, you see, I think it would make her feel kind of smug and feeling justified in her position because it's validating all of her thoughts on the genre.
Shona wouldn't get smug now, Mike.
No, she's not that
No,
kind of
she
girl.
wouldn't.
No. She wouldn't take advantage of trying to be right over anybody. Would she? I also like the way it was shot. It's kind of like it's shot as a reality show.
Yeah.
About a reality show.
Yeah.
Which was good. The characters to a man and woman are just wonderfully unlikable. You know, you see one asshole and then next scene they top it. They bring in another bigger asshole. Yeah. You know, they have, you can see it lined up for the series that there's going to be a lot of, putting people in humiliating positions. I'm thinking of the exit from the limousine.
Yeah.
That for me just that made the show for me. It was like, okay, so this is where it's going. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Rachel's character, what did you think of the way they have this love triangle thing going on?
Okay.
Which I thought was
Whoa. Hold on, Steve. I think we're going to have to call it for this show. It's going to have to be some sort of love decagon, like a love zachyhedron, given the bachelor's, status.
The bachelor status. No, I'm talking about her ex-boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. I didn't care about that at all. Sorry. Yeah. I was focused entirely on Rachel and flirting with the bachelor himself.
Right. That's kind of another story altogether. But, that was exactly my point, was that I thought it was
some kind of love fractal.
Love fractal, yeah. I just thought it was a waste of time. I didn't think there was any need for it. I know it's probably going to play out later on, or there's going to be some sort of drama. But I don't think it needs it. I think the show should be the focus, and we don't need this love triangle thing, the subplot.
Well,
to make things awkward and, I can't say this because there's your girlfriend, or, you had your chance, all that kind of bullshit. It doesn't need it.
Well, you see, in any other show, I would probably agree with you, but I have a funny feeling they're going to find a way to make that really ugly. They're going to take the beauty that was their relationship and just drag it through the sewers. And it's going to be fantastic. I have we talked about Chet?
Who's that?
Chet is the creator.
Oh, yeah.
What a character.
I thought you'd like him on it.
He's just alpha male dick plus. And it's wonderful to what's the word? Probably give us a little picture that's probably a little closer to the truth than most people like to imagine about what it's like to work in TV, where you have these the great and the good with all the money, and everybody else just scurrying around trying to hold on to their job day to day.
Yeah.
While these psychopaths just cut a swathe through the lives of the people they happen to encounter. I think as the show goes on, he's going to become a legendary character.
I've nothing else to say about this, really. I think I've covered it. How about you?
No, I think that's
John?
about it.
Only thing I'd say is I liked that at the end of the day, when the sun rose and they finished filming, I liked that Chet and I guess his girlfriend, whatever, the producer, I liked that they were just like hugging after a hard day at work. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, because assholes are not always assholes. That would be weird.
It was very humanizing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even though what they had just done was so dehumanizing to so many people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, those girls, you can totally see they're just objects. They're just pawns.
Yeah. And they signed up for it.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, I don't know, equipment, to make the show. They don't give a shit.
They're human props.
Yeah. True. Yeah. So, I enjoyed this. Despite myself. So I'm going to give it Thriller.
Are you ashamed of yourself, Steve?
I am, yeah. I'm kind of disgusted with myself that I like this, yeah.
Yeah, 100% love this show. I'm definitely going to be following through on this. Thriller for me.
All right.
I'm excited. I'm going to watch at least one more. Hopefully they won't go down any bad roads like the love triangle angle and bullshit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to watch it cautiously because I've been burned by shows before. So I'm going to give this one a thriller.
Very good.
Actually, you just reminded me, Sean, speaking of burned before, Selfie has just started on Irish TV this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw the ad for it. I think I felt a little twinge of sadness for Sean that there won't be any more.
It was only one season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, barely. It was like 12 episodes or something. I just want. Why couldn't she find love? You know, I mean, they're so right for each other. And then, I can't talk about it right
now.
For me, the pain is still too near.
Yeah. Too soon, Mike. Too soon. It must have been cheap, though. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we'll have some previews and come to a bicycle near you. Okay, so first up was The Martian, starring Matt Damon and
Kate Mara.
Yeah, Kate Mara, that's right. You're such a creep. So this is based on the novel of the same name. It's about a mission to Mars, and they're all getting on fine, and then there's a big storm, and they're told to get the hell out of there, and one man gets left behind. So he's killed, they think. And then he wakes up on his own, and everyone else has gone home, and he's 140 million miles from home.
Hello?
Or help.
Hello?
So yeah, he's to figure out how to live for 4 years before they can get a rescue crew out to him, with a thing that's designed for 32 days survival. So it starts there. And it explores the trials and tribulations of space travel without any planning.
Yeah. I suppose it's kind of a movie about what would happen if MacGyver was in space.
Yeah. Well, or it's this is another shipwreck, lost at sea thing, isn't it? It's like we saw with the space movie last year, the big one, Gravity.
Yeah. Or Interstellar.
Yeah, to a certain degree. Yeah, this looks fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, I want to read the book, actually. I believe it's very good. So I must get on it before it's released. But yeah, this is one. Definitely look up the trailer. It's great. It's definitely worth a look. Second one we looked at was Bridge of Spies, which stars Tom Hanks.
Inspired by true events.
Yeah.
Unlike The Martian.
Yeah.
So there is a spy, a traitor spy in America in custody, and there is a spy pilot, probably not a traitor, but in trouble in Russia, and they want to do swap, and the only man who can get it done is Tom Hanks, an insurance lawyer.
Yeah.
That's what you turn to.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It looks good though.
Yeah. I hated Tom Hanks for a long time, but it was probably unjustified. It was probably me being small-minded.
It was probably the movies he used to do.
Probably, yeah. But I think he's going to do a good job in this.
Yeah. When I saw that he was in it, I was like, oh, looking forward to this. Yeah. So yeah, this looks good. It's got a little bit of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy about it. I guess that era, isn't it? Yeah. Cold War and so on. So yeah, looks good. The last one I looked at was Everest, which stars Jake Gyllenhaal and many other people. And guess what it's about?
Blogging?
Yes, they are attempting to climb Everest, and a big storm comes, and they've great difficulties, essentially. And they overcome, I think.
That'd be terrible if you were on the top of Everest and a big storm came.
When your body is degrading every second due to the altitude.
So imagine what difficulties you'd have. You'd probably all have to pull together as a team to get down with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Be kind of handy if you found a phone on the way down so you could ring your wife and tell her how much you loved her.
Now, you're bound to lose a few guys, though, into crevasses on the way as well.
Shit, yeah.
And there's bound to be lots of, rickety ladders, sort of falling over and people getting lost.
Yeah.
And so
Why
on.
don't they use proper ladders? For fuck's sake.
We're down to 9. 8, sorry, 5. John? 4. It's 4.
Fuck this shit.
Yeah, so that's Everest. I don't know, I'm not really looking forward to this.
I'm not going to watch this.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen this movie a few times.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'd say I'd actually prefer to climb Everest than watch this movie.
So that was the last of trailers we watched this week. That's everything we're going to cover this week, in fact. So, so we'll leave it there. Yeah, so give us a tweet at isitabicycle, or give us an email at isitabicycle, it's podcast at isitabicycle.com. And we'll talk to you next week. So from Mike, Steve, and Sean, stay classy.